It seems like this is a self-inflicted PR crisis. What is Elon Musk doing?
I think he's just trying to, be himself and take this kind of unconventional roadmap. And despite the board urging him and trying to put some rails around how he does and interacts with social media, so I think that there is a piece that he just wants to be himself, and he's going to do that, whether people like it or not. I think that there's also a part, and please forgive me for trying to look at the bright side of this, but I think that there is a part where he is feeling presumably confident about how things are going. I would suspect that if there was going to be some negative news around profitability or Model 3 production in September, he wouldn't be out doing these things. And so what is he doing? I think he's kind of setting up, in some ways, signaling to people that he's, at least in the near term, feeling good about business.
Meantime, taking a look at his statements to some of these other publications, The Guardian reached out to Musk asking for a comment on the marijuana smoking interview. He called them an insufferable publication. BuzzFeed has a story out with an email from Musk in which he refers to this person in Thailand that he's been having this public feud with as a child rapist. This is the same person he apologized for calling a pedo. Dana, what are you hearing from company spokespeople? Do they clearly not have control of him? I think, or is this part of some grander plan?
I think what people need to realize is, look, Elon Musk is Tesla Communications. He's also the crisis. So everyone always asks me, when is Tesla going to hire a crisis comms team? Elon is the comms and he is the crisis right now, and it's very self-inflicted. But he's not likely to change. Elon's going to Elon, and he's always sort of done things his own way, and has a very intimate relationship with his fans and his followers and his customers via social media. I agree with Gene. I think he probably went on Joe Rogan because he thought it was a good idea, and he, likes to kind of shoot the breeze with people about topics that interest him. It was a wide-ranging interview about flamethrowers and AI and all this other stuff. I just think that the optics are not good, and the big tell is just always how the shares react. So that when the shares plummet because you've got all these things going on, you would think that there'd be an effort internally to right the ship, but he's not showing any signs of changing, and I don't think the board really has the power to make him change at this point.
Well, what's ironic is this is a person who, has said he needs to be on the factory floor 24/7. He's sleeping there. He can barely go to his own brother's wedding, and yet he's sitting for more than 2.5 hours for a podcast. Gene, we've had investors and analysts on over and over again who say they still believe, despite all of this, that Elon Musk is still the right person to be leading this company. Do you still believe he is the right person to lead this company?
The simple answer is yes, I believe that. I believe that the company will be successful. Undoubtedly, his actions are making it harder to support them. But at the end of the day, what this really boils down to is, can they produce more than 55,000 Model 3s per quarter? They'll probably do 55,000 this September quarter at a 20% gross margin. If they do that, none of this matters, that they will become profitable and get what we call escape velocity. The part that's particularly painful for me as a supporter to this is there is what I'll say is a 15% chance that I'm wrong, and that something doesn't go right around the profitability or the production, and that they will have to go and raise money again. And the standard for investors is different than standard for a voter. All his behavior is reminiscent of some political behavior right now. But investors are not going to be as generous in giving a pass in this type of behavior. And whether it's legal or illegal doesn't matter. It's illegal in the minds of investors. And so I think that that's the part. I'm still clearly an investor. I believe in this story and think that the story can be multiple times bigger in the future. But it does beg the question, the 15% chance I'm wrong, my escape plan just got a little bit more tight.
Dana, Gene, they're drawing a parallel between Musk's behavior and that of our very own president. Are you hearing from other analysts and other investors, Dana, that maybe he isn't the right person to lead this company, or do they share Gene's view that yes, he still is, with a caveat?
I think people really want to see a COO. I mean, you're hearing over and over again, like, gosh, can't they just get a COO like Gwen Shotwell to run Tesla? You know, people have asked Gwen point blank if there's a possibility that Elon could clone her, if she has a twin sister somewhere. I mean, the difference between the two companies is extraordinary in that sense. But as far as we know, there is not an active search for a COO. And I mean, if Musk stepped down, he is so intertwined with the brand. He is the chairman of the board. He is the CEO. He is the largest shareholder. He is the public face of the company. I just can't imagine who could fill those shoes. But so I'm hearing more that people would really like to see them hire a COO rather than Musk stepping down himself.
But Gene, with all of this going on, is Tesla going to be able to recruit the talent that it desperately needs?
I think that ultimately they will, because it's such a big mission and such a unique opportunity to have an impact on really the world. As crazy as that sounds, you know, their mission statements gets lost in this circus, which their mission statement is to accelerate the globe's adoption of renewable energy. And I think there are people who, despite all the internal friction, I think would be willing to work there. I'd also point out, too, is that this is a particularly important part of Tesla in terms of their trajectory over the next 30 to 180 days. And I think that once they get past that and get some stability, I suspect that the pressure cooker will start to dial back, and I think that the ability to recruit and, importantly, maintain talent will improve dramatically.